They're crunchy, they're juicy, and they disappear faster than you can say nugget. Golden crispy on the outside, tender and juicy on the inside. Chicken nuggets are a childhood favorite that never gets old. And homemade is always better. And here's a quick, simple recipe. To a small food processor, add 3 Asian shallots, 3 large cloves of garlic, 1 rib of celery. We also added 3 tablespoons of spring onion greens. And we're just going to finely chop that. Of course, you can do this by hand, but using a chopper is always easier. Add the chopped ingredients to a bowl, and to the same food processor, add 300 grams of boneless chicken. I'm using chicken breast here. Pulse this a few times till you get a finely chopped texture. You don't want to go too long and get a chicken paste. We don't want that. So you want a finely chopped texture. Add this to the bowl along with 1 teaspoon of light soy sauce, a half a teaspoon of softened butter. I'm using salted butter, and I also added about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of mild chili powder as well, and I also added 1/4 teaspoon each of onion powder and garlic powder. So we're just going to mix that. You don't want to overmix, but make sure everything is well incorporated and mixed through. So this is the chicken nugget mixture. On a tray lined with parchment paper, we're just going to shape these little nuggets. You can shape them however you like. Using the parchment paper, it makes it easier. I'm also wearing these disposable gloves, so it makes it easier to shape the chicken nuggets. Once you've shaped the chicken nuggets, you want to chill them in the freezer for 20 minutes so that they set firm. To a shallow bowl, we're going to sift in 1 cup of plain flour. To season, add half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper powder, half a teaspoon of mild chili powder, 2 teaspoons of corn flour, and 1/3 of a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of dried tarragon, and a pinch of thyme. So we're going to whisk everything together, and if you can't find your whisk, I find a good substitute is putting these 2 forks together, and it makes an instant whisk. Mix everything together thoroughly, and the seasoned flour is ready. So I'm just going to add that to a flat plate here. It makes it easier to coat. And to another bowl, add half a cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Set this aside for about 15 minutes, and you'll find that it thickens a bit, and you've made instant homemade buttermilk there. To this mixture, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a pinch of ground cinnamon, just a pinch of ground cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of mild chili powder, 1 egg, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of rice flour. Beat this milk mixture till everything is nicely incorporated, and then we're just going to dip the chilled nuggets one by one in the prepared flour, then into the milk mixture, and again into the flour mixture, and place it back on the parchment paper till you're ready to fry. We're going to shallow fry these nuggets now. I'm using sunflower oil, and since we're using finely minced chicken, these nuggets cook really quickly. On a medium to high flame, we're just going to fry them till they're golden on one side, and then flip them over and repeat the process on the next side. If you want, you can flip them over one more time to get that good color. You can always test a piece. You don't want to overcook these because they lose flavor when they're overcooked. So they're perfectly cooked right about now, golden, crispy, and juicy on the inside. These nuggets turned out so juicy and so flavorful. Serve them while they're still hot. You can see how juicy they are. Turned out great. So I hope you try this simple recipe and let me know how they turned out. Thank you so much for watching again. See you next time. Bye.